DJDUBL.
Lavida Loca.
Hello.
Hola. So your name, let's start there, of course.
Yeah.
It's probably the question you always get asked to kickstart things. Is it the Spanish version or the Portuguese version?
Oh, it must be the Spanish version because I only know the Spanish translation, which is living a crazy life.
Mm-hmm.
Does it translate to the same in Portuguese?
Possibly.
Oh, you don't know either.
I don't know in Portuguese. No, the reason I ask is because of your roots in Malawi.
Yeah,
And
Malawi's
I believe
right next to Mozambique.
one of the languages is Portuguese in Malawi, right?
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you about what languages you speak.
I do speak a few languages. So I speak obviously English, Chichewa, and I speak Anabunese, which is like a Spanish Creole.
Right, okay.
But my name changed. My name wasn't really based on language. It was just based on like somebody just called me and it just kind of like stuck as in like because my name is Lav, and everybody calls me like Little Lavi or whatever, just along them lines. And then somebody called me like Lavida Loca, like you're crazy, so Lavida Loca. And then it just kind of like stuck like with the play on words as in living a crazy life as well. I thought when I was thinking about a rap name, that sounded good.
Yeah. Did you have any other names, or did you explore any other names for your artistry?
I did have a few, but I had to write. They didn't. None of them stuck. None of them sounded good. So my government name is Cairo. So I was gonna call myself Kai Money. Before I went to jail, everybody used to call me Lavi Blanco. So that was literally like kind of like my tag name, and that's what everybody kind of like used to call me. That was my Twitter name. That was everything.
Lavi Blanco.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was, I think, originally what I wanted to call myself. But then still didn't quite have the ring that I wanted. I don't know. So I went back and forth with a few names. Like, if you go on my Instagram where it says like how many times this user has changed his username, mine since I've been out of jail is like 200. Like, there's loads.
So what did you say your government name was?
Cairo.
So where did Lav come from then? Because I just assumed Lav was your government name.
So it's weird. Like my home name is Vera. So my parents call me Vera. But everybody else, like from young, I just started calling myself La Vera. Like I did like kind of like a spin on it, and I think for a very long time everybody thinks and like still thinks that's my real name,
right?
Because of how long I've just called myself like La Vera for, and then that just got broken down to Lav.
What I find a lot of new artists make the mistake when they choose their name of having something that when you Google, it's impossible to find the artist still.
Yeah.
But with your name, there's only 2 hits that come up really.
Okay.
It's you, and then it's like an old Latin song, like Ricky Martin song, proper old pop song.
Yeah.
So it's nice and easy to find you. So you were born in Malawi.
Yeah.
What age did you come to the UK?
2.
I'm just assuming you don't remember anything from your time in Malawi.
Not anything at all. No, I don't really remember it. Anything I know of Malawi now has just been from like my family, kind of trying to like teach me the culture and just the internet.
Right. Okay.
I don't remember it.
Never been back?
No, my parents have. Like my parents go, but no, I've never been.
Yet?
Not yet, but hopefully I can go next year.
Yeah. So talk to me about the surroundings that you grew up in when you came over to the UK. Like whereabouts did you live, and what was the area like?
So we moved to Southend, and then we was there for about a year or so, and then moved to Nottingham.
Right.
And then a lot of my like childhood, I grew up in Nottingham. We moved to Nottingham when I was about 3 or 4, and then from then I went to primary school in Nottingham, and then just kind of became like started to know England there.
Yeah, Southend to Nottingham, they were very different places.
Yeah. I didn't really get to know Southend then because I was so young, but then I really grew into like Nottingham. So Nottingham is where I really hold close to my heart because it's just kind of like that's the first place I learned of England, culture here and people, and I absolutely loved it, like playing out and people knocking for each other and
earlier sprints, stuff like that. Yeah.
Like it was a whole kind of I liked it.
What kind of music were you exposed to when you were growing up?
Growing up, my dad used to listen to a lot of reggae.
Okay.
So I listened to like a lot of reggae growing up. That was pretty much the main genre in my house. Besides that, it was my mum used to like love Whitney Houston, so I used to love Whitney Houston as well. So I remember like growing up listening to the same Whitney Houston CD for like so many years. And then just kind of like what was like on TV and like in the charts at the time, because obviously my parents were just trying to get into British culture as well. So like a lot of what was going on around the house was just what was filling, like what was going on like outside, what was going on around them times.
So I guess they were just trying to learn their way around.
Yeah.
Were they, because English is spoken in Malawi as well, isn't it? It's quite a prominent language there.
I don't think so. I don't believe really what Google says, because that I don't know many. Like, it's, I think you either know how to speak it or don't, but it's not like a prominent language.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been to Malawi, so I'm just going off of Google there.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so did your parents speak English before they came over, or they learned here?
No, they spoke English.
Oh,
before they
okay.
came here, yeah.
What were your aspirations growing up? Like, what did you want to be?
I wanted to be a singer, actually, when I was a
Okay.
kid. So, but I've always loved music, so I always knew I wanted to do something with music. At school, the only like class I would ever be in was performing arts, and I went to a performing arts academy. Like, I got into a performing arts school, you had to audition and stuff like that, and that was the only kind of school, like, course I would go into. Everything else I would absolutely bunk, from English to maths, everything else. That was the only thing I loved. So yeah, when I was a child, I wanted to be a singer, but then I think that's because I didn't know what part of music, like, I didn't know what was me, in a sense. I didn't know like what kind of artist I would be. I hadn't discovered rap music yet. I hadn't really discovered the artists that have inspired me now, from like Lil Kim, Nicki Minaj and people like that. I hadn't figured them out yet. So all I knew was I love music. So I just wanted to sing. I used to try and be like Mariah Carey and Beyonce and da-da-da-da. But obviously now that's not my lane. There's amazing singers and big belters out there, but that's not something. I'm a rapper and I hold on to my rap and my craft. But obviously it took time before, like, through the ages, before I discovered rap, fell in love with rap, started writing myself rap music, and then just like decided, okay, cool, I want to be a rapper. But no, I wanted to be a singer.
So is that the label that you're comfortable with being given? Then you are a rapper, not a musician, not an artist.
No, but then to be fair, no, I am a musician, I am an artist, and because I do sing on tracks, and I do like add that in a few like whatever I'm doing, kind of based on the beat and what kind of like sound I'm working on. But yeah, that's why I would say I'm an artist, I'm a musician, but I don't mind being predominantly a rapper. Like,
right.
Yeah.
The first song I ever heard from you was a freestyle, The King's Back.
Yeah.
And it was on the Pop Smoke PTSD instrumental.
Yeah.
How did you find that instrumental? Because the interesting thing is as well, when I actually was looking this up, yours dropped first.
Yeah. No, the beat is actually just on YouTube. So I found the beat on. Do you know, it's actually I didn't actually have to look that hard for it. I don't know how I sort of like stumbled across it. It was a Meat Mill type beat.
Right. So that was it. Meat Mill. Is that what you were looking for? Meat Mill type beat.
And then just found it, spat on it, and then I heard it after that Pop Smoke had done it. So I was like, shit.
Right. Okay. So Pop Smoke obviously then dropped his.
Yeah. And obviously he's a big artist at the time. So yeah, he kind of like took that beat. But it's okay. Yeah.
That's wild that you found that beat. What was it about that particular instrumental that you were like, yeah, this is the one?
I don't know. I feel like back then, that was obviously before I actually started making music. I was still kind of in the zone of just rapping, like just freestyling and just in that. So it was just like, just played the beat and it was just like, ooh, this is cold. So just started obviously just going. There was nothing to it. There was no process to it. Obviously now there's so much more that goes in, like behind making music and the bigger picture. But back then it was just literally like, yeah, cool, love this, let's go. Like
you called the freestyle, interestingly enough, The King is Back.
Yeah.
So there's two things about the title that really I wanted to break down. First of all, and this relates to your socials as well.
Yeah.
King Lavida Loca.
Yeah.
So why King?
Because respectfully, most young girls, most women have been brought up as queens. They've been brought up like being taught certain things, they're queens, and I give them that and I absolutely admired them for being that. But the way my life was, like, I didn't even know how to do laundry until I went to prison. And a lot of the way my life has been in a male-dominated world, from the streets to now making music. And I conquered both, like, and I've survived so many things, went to jail, survived that. There's some men that don't even survive that. So the things I've been thrown into in the life that I've lived, I don't compare myself to queens, because that's what you are. I'm a king. I've had to be a lion out here.
I love the respectfully that you put in there. But yeah, no, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So okay, that breaks down the king side of it. Now your first freestyle, you called it The King is Back.
Yeah.
Now that's a super bold move for like your very first record. Why is back?
Because I left for so long, like obviously going jail, and then in that freestyle I spoke a lot about like my prison journey and kind of like what was going on the wing and stuff. So it was just kind of like like King's back, like I'm back now, like
you're out.
And I feel like Because, so my original release date was in 2016, but through getting extra charges and extra time, then I wasn't due to be released until 2018. And then I got more days and extra added days and 6 weeks here and 2 weeks there. And so no one ever really actually knew when I was coming home. So it was just, for me, that was also like, well, I'm really back now. And everybody out here kind of, they ripped me off, as in, I thought she was supposed to be out last year. I thought she was supposed to be out the year before.
Right,
I thought she was supposed to be out last month. Like, so everyone was just like, oh, like, and you get forgotten about and dismissed and no one takes you serious no more. But yeah, no, it was just kind of like, no, I'm back now.
You're very open about like your experience in like your time in prison, and with your openness, is this something that you decided to just be? Because not a lot of people in music are. It seems to be like a very taboo subject with a lot of people. Yeah. Even if on their socials they've been shown to have been in prison, they're very reluctant to talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
But like I say, you're very open about it. Is that something that you decided to do? Like, okay, in my conversations, my music, like I'm just going to talk about it?
See, I don't feel like I have been open about it yet, because I don't feel like I've spoken yet about my like experiences there and kind of like what I actually went through in prison. And some of them things people can't even like imagine, which is why I feel like a lot of people don't really get into the details and really speak on that experience, because it's not a nice one. But for me, it's just generally because that's played such a big part of my life. And obviously I went there young, turned 18 there, come out like as a whole different person, as a woman now, come out as an adult. Like I just can't help but have to explain. If you ask me too many questions, I have to then explain I've been to prison. There's so many things about my life that's still not normal. So it's just kind of like people will then ask like, why do you have to do that? Or and then it's like, okay, cool, because I've been to jail and then this happened, and so I just feel like it's just generally just part of my story, which is why like I do like touch on it, I do speak on it. But no, I don't even feel like I've gone into detail yet, but I'm ready to in music. So when I'm doing more like album stuff and doing more, I think a different body of work, not the one I'm doing right now, maybe the next project we do or the project after that, I definitely want to get in myself, get in my emotion, get into my stories, and actually really then speak about my experience.
I love storytelling rap.
Yeah.
I do love storytelling rap. What age were you when you went to prison?
16.
Right. So it's like you say, you turned 18 in prison. Like there's so many different things, like key points that I'm just going to use the word normal. I hope you know what I mean. But that normal life you get. So from going from 16 to what, you were 20 when you came out, right? Yeah. Like your first job out of school, like opening bank accounts and stuff like this. I still don't
have a bank account. But I'm getting one now. I'm in the process of getting one right now.
Right.
I still don't have a bank account.
Do you
feel
of
my like the long things at the system and So that's another thing that's normal, but you have to explain why are you 23 and you still don't have a bank account. Like,
so you're just going through that process now. Yeah. So all of those things are these things that you're having to catch up on super quick and kind of squeeze that normal life that you would have had into the time that you spent
out here. I feel like I've definitely had to do exactly that. But coronavirus has kind of like stopped us. I've never been to like a concert, which is mad because I'm in music.
Never been to a concert?
No. So my manager Anthony was saying that all right, cool, we'll get like tell me what concert you want to do, like go to, and we'll speak to my booking agent. So I was excited for that. Then coronavirus. I went to my first club. I went clubbing when I came out, so the clubs were open when I came out. Like I experienced that. I've never been on like a girls' holiday. I've never been to a festival. Like there's still a lot of things I still haven't experienced yet, but I'm ready.
So for you then, has it been like more easy to kind of bring yourself back into society, given that everyone else is not allowed to function?
I think
because it's almost like everyone else is in the halfway house with you now, and
I've definitely said that, and I've like kind of like thank God for that, because it's in a weird way, as much as it's to everybody's kind of like downfall, but no, for me it's been, I've had time to kind of like the roads, what's going on out here. I've really had time to understand what social media is. In this time of lockdown, since we went in lockdown last year, I've figured out what social media is. I still didn't know what social media, I wasn't understanding the way the world had developed in a sense. I've had time to figure all of that out, figure out what I want, figure out people, figure out just life. Like I feel like I'm in the world again. Whereas before I was just like looking from the outside in a sense. But that's been through lockdown and everyone having to, so because no one's been going out, it's just been kind of like, okay, cool, everybody, I've just been observing everything that's been kind of going on. I haven't had to throw myself outside in environments with anxiety, feeling away, because I'm still kind of like fresh out here and as I said, figuring out. I haven't had to do it from being outside. I've been able to do it from the comfort of my house.
Yeah, of course.
And not feel like I'm missing out on life because I'm isolating myself from the busy world because no one's been outside.
Yeah, so
I've loved it.
It's all your fault. You've manifested this whole thing on all of us. Yeah, cheers.
No,
Thanks for that. It's funny you mentioned social media because I was going to ask you about that. Obviously, it's not something you're allowed when you're in jail.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm guessing there were inmates coming in and out during your sentence. So you were aware it existed.
Yeah. And I feel like for the last 2 years of my sentence, I kind of then more girls, because for a long time of my sentence I was the youngest like prisoner throughout kind of like the adult jails, but then throughout the last 2 years more girls my age and a couple of years younger, so it was from 18 plus. So when I was 18 fresh 18, there was no one else younger than me, and I got to about 19 now. It was my last year of my sentence where now girls were coming in my age, and then they were telling me about Instagram and influencers, but the way, imagine like you've never seen it, so you're trying to understand what someone's trying to tell you, and you know, you can just take pictures and look pretty in the right places and you get free clothes and free this, and I'm thinking like, what are you even talking about? Like, I'm not really processing what people are doing. People are saying they want to be an influencer. There was one girl on my wing that was saying, yeah, if she wants to build her brand outside on Instagram. I was like, well, you're going to get paid on Instagram? Like, I didn't understand it. But so that didn't really do much help. Like, just hearing what people, it was easy to dismiss because you know you're not going out yet, you're not getting out. So.
Right. It must have sounded so alien though, the fact that you just take a picture and...
I thought they were just chatting shit, so I was just like, alright, you crack on with that, like, I'm gonna think about a real job for when I get out, like. Yeah.
Was it like stepping out into a completely different world?
It was mad trying to kind of like get used to everything, but I feel like TikTok I'm still trying to figure out. TikTok is the newest one and I'm still trying to kind of understand what that is, but I don't know.
Yeah. So when you went in at 16, was it a young offenders prison? Is that how it works? So there's like an under 18s prison, and then
for women anyway. Like for men, there's YOYs, which are still like pretty much like they're still jails for like 15 to 18s and then 18 to 21s. But for females, because there's not enough female like offenders, they can't break us down like that. So if you're under 18, there is no HMP or YY for females. We have to go to a secure unit or a secure care home if you're kind of like vulnerable enough. I had to go to a secure unit, which is not really jail. It's like a boarding school. There's boys there. There's more boys. As I said, there's not enough female, especially not juveniles. So there was only 15 beds for females and about 70 for boys. But the girls' units were split up in 3, so 5, 5, 5, and then the boys' units were as they were. But we'd go to education. It was just literally a big boarding school. We'd go to the dining hall and you'd see the other boys' units in the dining hall and then go back to the unit. And it was not like prison. You'd get takeaways on a Friday. I was in a secure unit called Rainsbrook. So it was nothing like prison, like nothing. I really took advantage of it because it was not the same. No. It was,
so did you know what was coming when you turned 18?
No, I didn't. I didn't. And when I turned 18, they were very quick to ship me out because at the time I was classed as the most high risk person on site because I had just caught my Section 18, my GBH charge in prison. Right. So they wanted to get me out of the jail, but they couldn't. There's nowhere to send me. And the other jail, which is Medway, which is another secure unit, which is down London, for gang reasons, they wouldn't accept me. I wasn't allowed to go there through my caseworker and stuff.
What do you mean for gang reasons? Like vulnerable of joining a gang? Or?
Just high risk of harm or high risk of causing harm.
Right, okay.
So it was just that kind of thing where they just, as I said, there's only 5 in each. So if they feel like my issues outside, I've got too many issues compared to the girls who are already, because don't forget, there's other girls with gang issues and other girls at the time who had other issues. So they already had them separated, and if you now don't fit in any way that it's been separated, it's just kind of like long. But I don't even feel like it's so much that. It's basically down to your yacht worker. My yacht worker personally didn't want to send me there. She was very like, no, we're not doing that. We're going to get into trouble. Like, it was just very, I think it's down to the discretion of the person who's working with you. But I wasn't allowed to go to Medway. So they didn't have any way they could send me. So when I turned 18, literally a day after, they told me pack my bags and go, and I was not expecting it. Wow. From the minute I got into reception at women's prison, it was like, all right, strip search. That was sitting on the boss chair, the metal chair, everything just seemed so intense. Like, and there was when I got to reception, they accepted me by myself. Normally you go in and you see other people checking in, but because I was high risk, just come from juvenile, my file looks like this, I've just assaulted somebody in the jail 2 weeks ago, they were very like high alert. So when I got there was about 10 officers, there was SOs, the reception was locked down for me, I've come in, being transferred, strip search, just they were treating me like, I don't know, so it was very like intimidating. I was thinking, like, this for little old me, like.
I think that's probably
like,
the point, isn't it? Intimidation.
Yeah, but jail, I feel like when I went to women's jail, it definitely knocked some sense. I think that whole experience definitely, it did what it needed to. Yeah, I definitely feel like it did.
I've heard it said that like female prisons are much worse than male prisons.
I don't know. I don't know if I would agree with that. I feel like male prisons are more active. I feel like there's more going on. I don't know, actually. I don't know, because I've never been in a male prison, but I feel like they are more like on stabbings and more, they take their violence to the more extreme, but in female prison, the fights are just over nothing. So it's more often, and it's more catty, and there's more like jump-ins, and there's more, I don't know how to explain it, like, it's a more toxic environment, I think, for females. Right. Yeah. For male prisons, obviously, you either get along or you don't, and then you have it out, and then you either get moved, and you don't have to kind of like deal with that. For females, it goes on and on and on and on, and the atmosphere is horrible, and when something's really going down, the whole wing feel it, the jail can feel it sometimes, like it's very draining. Yeah. Draining,
that's a good word, I guess.
Yeah, it's very draining.
Are you comfortable talking about with the reasons why you went to prison?
Yeah, so I burnt down my ex-boyfriend's house.
Right.
Yeah, just kind of being impulsive. And then I got arrested with my co-defendant in a taxi with a gun.
Oh, okay.
So I was on bail for the arson. At the time I was nicked for an AM, but then I was released on bail on tag, but then I wasn't trying to stay on tag or go to jail, so I was going to go on the run. And so within a few days, that's what I was kind of like planning, but then while planning to do that, got nicked for a firearm. Don't know how that happens.
Right.
And then went to jail. Like, this was literally their thing of like, no, you've had enough chances out here. And at that point, yeah, I was just living a life of always getting arrested, or like I was just always in and out of police stations for stupid stuff. And I was on tag for quite a while, so I'd cut my tag off to go to a party and just breach my curfew to just go out with him. Like, right, yeah, I was that kind of kid. Like, I was very like just didn't care, like didn't think about nothing. Like, so yeah.
Where did that stem from? Just not caring?
I think it's just more so like my life in general. Like when I came here, my parents were illegal immigrants for a long time in my life, so they couldn't really like work proper jobs, so like it was always a struggle. Like life was always that kind of like that, but then obviously they kind of like wanted what was best for me. So initially their thing was trying to raise me, like bring me up in Essex. So after Nottingham, they wanted to try to take me to Essex and kind of raise me there, but they obviously couldn't afford the kids that I was going to school with and the kids I had to be around, they couldn't afford to have me around those kids, you know what I mean? And it was just kind of like, I go to school and everyone's got the new kickers and this. I'm living in Essex where girls are wearing makeup from year 7s and nails and this, and everybody just kind of like loving life. And then I'm having to like get hand-me-downs for my cousin to get kickers and just to kind of like fit in. And it was just kind of like, I was that girl, do you know what I mean? So eventually that just obviously becomes long. And then, yeah, I don't know, I think just bumping into the wrong people and then being shown there's ways to make money out here, you don't have to live like that. And yeah, it just all come hand in hand, and then I just kind of like fell off. But then I think I just didn't like to be in the house either, because my dad used to like, kind of like drink a lot, and it was kind of like a toxic environment quite a lot of the time. So I didn't like to be in the house as it was. So I just found my place outside the house, really. So yeah, it started off that way, and then just making money, trying to do better for myself. And then it started off by not caring about what my parents thought, because I was very disobedient and very like, fuck you, I'm going out, I'm doing this.
Right.
So from the time I don't care about what my parents think, I just stopped caring about everything. Like, as in, yeah, just start living life without consequences, in my head anyway.
I think every child probably goes through that stage where it's like, I don't care what the parents think. Like,
yeah.
But obviously, with all the other factors, well, it just sounds like the other factors around you obviously just contributed to what then happened. In prison, how switched on were you to the music scene?
Not at all, really. I only really started to get into the like rap scene maybe like my last 2 years, because I started to get into radio, so like BBC One Extra and Capital Extra, and then started to listen to like the urban sounds that were being like played, and then started to like I liked how the UK scene was developing, so I was thinking, oh sick, like this is sounding good now, like what's going on. I think at the time I was hearing like Steph and Notes and One Asen, and I think EO German was on the radio then, and I liked what was going on at the time, so I was like, oh sick, this is what's going on outside. So then after that I went to a jail that had 4 music, so we could see actual music videos, and then I saw what was going on, and I just thought, oh my god, the world has developed like so much, because that's not what anything was looking like.
Saw the quality of the UK videos now compared to like Channel U days and stuff.
It wasn't even so much Channel U, it was just kind of like who was making songs before I went to jail? it was really like block videos, and you know, like Tion Wayne apartment videos with the
Yeah.
basic cameras, and it was just the link up TVs. You know, that era. It wasn't like now. It was like movers just in the blocks, and it wasn't music videos. I didn't see rappers having music videos with budgets and directors and the whole thing going on. So when I kind of saw everything was going on, it was it was that point then I started to be in tune with what was going on. So this was about 2 years, about a year before I come out. Before that, pretty much oblivious to what was going on.
Right. You mentioned Link Up TV. Were you aware of platforms like GRM and Mixtape Madness and?
I was only aware of Link Up. That was the only one I remembered in my head, because that was, I think, at the time where everybody used to drop. I didn't know GRM for me. I only remember GRM because of J Huss's interview, J Huss's freestyle. I don't know if you remember it. That was, but I didn't associate GRM with being like such a platform. Back then they were like, I don't know if they were, no disrespect, I don't remember them to be like there. So I only remember them for a J Huss freestyle. That was it. I never really was on GRM or in tune like that. So when I've come out now, I'm seeing like GRM are like the most popping platform, and everyone's just kind of like on this platform thing. And I remember I dropped the Kings back on my own channel, and everyone was like, you should have done that, you should have dropped it on GRM, what have you done? And I just thought, whoa, like, is that deep? Like, it's only coming out, I'm having to learn on the job.
Just catching up with everything, I guess. Is it true you did time with Rose West in the same prison?
Yeah, but although I didn't actually know she was Rose West for a long time, being on the wing with her,
right, until
she bakes. So she bakes a lot. She was so
laugh. No, it's just, you know what, it's because, so I'm guessing you've caught up with who she is. You're well aware of who she is. Yeah. So just that mental image of Rose West baking for everyone, like, is.
But that's the thing, not everybody would eat her cakes. But
I'm
then
not
I was new on
I did.
I got moved on to the Life as a Long-Termers wing, which is where she was on in a jail called Low Newton in Durham. Right. So I got it was a security transfer for like kind of like selling drugs in the jail that I was in before. So they did a 1-to-1 swap with somebody else. So I've now ended up at the top of the country. This is the furthest jail in England for females. Right. But then it's a high security jail. So initially when I got there, I went on normal wings, but then got kicked off of the normal wings, and then they put me, which is like the punishment, on the long-termers and lifers wing. And then Rose was just there with a shiny shoe. She used to clean the wing. She was a wing cleaner. She never left the wing because obviously for her protection and stuff. Yeah. But she used to bake cakes, but everyone would kind of keep away from her. But I'm just kind of like me, so I didn't understand why everyone would keep away from her. So she baked some cakes. I ate some cakes. They were nice. Do you know what I mean? It was just normal. And then I think someone actually pulled me like, "Why did you chat to her?" And I was like, why not? She's harmless. She's not done no harm to me. Why would I not chat to her? Then they said wait, and they got an officer to kind of print off a small article, and then
so, all right, so I want to unpack this a little bit. Like, so they handed you this newspaper clipping.
Yeah, it was a magazine. It was like a small little magazine cutting from like 19. She looked like a completely different person. Yeah, completely different person. I wouldn't have, if you showed me that now, I wouldn't have known that was her on the wing. Like, she looked so different. So you read through it, and I guess it obviously detailed her life and crimes. Yeah.
How did you feel like when you read that?
But to be fair, do you know what? I felt just intrigued. That's how I was on the wing. I was like the inquisitive little child, because I was the youngest on the Life as Long-Termers wing. So I would be the one to like ask the murderers, "Why did you kill him? Like, why did you do that?"
Just brazen, like you just ask.
But I asked Rose, she ignored me. She point out, just ignored me and walked out the room. Right. But no, that was my angle. So I was just kind of like intrigued to know more, like, so I could come out here and report it.
But you must have some super interesting stories and like.
No, I do. Yeah.
Like some crazy insights into.
Definitely.
That side of
I like to ask people about their minds as well, like their thought process behind doing stuff. So I think I took a lot from prison. I took a lot from meeting these women and kind of like obviously there's a lot of crimes I don't agree with, like didn't agree with, and obviously I have my opinions, but for me it was just kind of like, I'm never going to get a chance to meet people like you again, like, because I don't plan on coming back here. So yeah. I do want to know, like, kind of like how, like, do you see the balance of society? Why have you ended up on this side, and then I come out now and I meet so many other people that obviously wouldn't even imagine kind of like committing them kind of crimes. It's just kind of like, how are you wired in a sense? And obviously I've committed crimes myself, so I can't judge. I'm just generally kind of intrigued to how did it go to there, like, do you know what I mean? How did it go 0 to 100? Like, some women deny their crimes. I was on the wing with Tracy Connolly as well, Baby P's mum. She denies her kind of involvement. Some women, but then obviously you just know you're just chatting shit because you've been convicted and there's so much behind it. But then some people generally do break down what happened, how they were feeling, why they did that. And yeah, it was very interesting. I took a lot. I learned so much about people.
I can imagine. You might have a book in there somewhere.
I hope so.
That'd be some interesting reading, most definitely. How did you prepare for life coming out of prison? Because like we said, you went through so many changes. Like you basically went in a child and you came out an adult.
Yeah, I was not prepared at all. I feel like when I was coming out of jail, I was tired of jail, but I wasn't certainly sure that I would never end up going back. I was just kind of on the eggshells of it. If someone draws me out, then I have to react, and then I'm gonna get recalled anyway.
Right.
And you kind of like have it in your mind, like you're more than likely to get recalled because my like license was so heavy. And a lot of girls that come back to jail, like, so when I'm in my sentence doing my long sentence, I'm seeing girls in and out, maybe seeing the same one girl 10 times, and it's when you hear their horror stories, you think I'm not gonna last out there, so probation are gonna recall me for anything
because she came out, breached license.
But then when I've come out now, I've actually realized, like, as long as I'm not doing anything I'm not supposed to, I attend all the appointments I'm supposed to, I do everything accordingly, they can't just create a reason to recall me, in a sense. Obviously police there is faults in the system and there is things going on, and they do obviously do what they're doing sometimes, but in general there isn't many reasons to just send me to prison. So I just then start to kind of like evaluate them girls' situations and missing curfews and turning up high on drugs and I get now why you've been recalled and like I haven't. It's just kind of like how you carry yourself out here. But initially that was the fear, because all the girls put that in your head, and then I wasn't prepared for anything. I just came out. Right. And I didn't even know I was coming out, because obviously all the extra time, all the extra days, I was just kind of like, okay, cool. When I'm getting woken up by reception at 5 a.m. being told pack your stuff, you're going to reception to be released, I'm not believing it, kind of thing. Right.
So that was it. So you didn't even realise the release date was coming. It just
I only knew I was
like
actually,
you said, 5 a.m.
Oh no, I actually only knew I was getting released on the same day at 12 o'clock. Right. I got told at 12 p.m. that I was getting released, and it was like kind of like lunchtime bang up. So everybody gets unlocked for work at 2 o'clock. So I was told during this lock-up period, pack, and I was like, what if I sat on my bed for about an hour, like, am I actually getting out though? Like, I was actually just into like headspaces, which was scary. They didn't release me at 2 o'clock. They kept me like locked in, so I was thinking, they were lying. I'm not actually getting out. Yeah, but then I got out.
Did you get to say goodbye? Was that even a thing?
Yeah,
is saying goodbye a thing?
Yeah,
like
it is. It's such a huge thing. Like crying, saying bye, like hysterically crying. Like, like these are girls that I've actually, every prison I left people that like I don't know, left a mark on me in a sense, because maybe it might have been a story that they've told me, or just how long I've been on the wing with them. Don't forget, if you're like living so close with some like people, seeing them every single day, spend all your time with them, talk to them, indulge in like so many different relationships, it is hard. Like, I was on the wing and got so like close to people for like maybe a couple years at a time. So yeah, it was always sad to say goodbye. Right. And like I said, you're never going to see them again. I can't imagine going back to visit someone in prison, because I wouldn't want to put myself through that. Right. But so in general, it's just kind of like, I'm not going to see you again. It's sad. Yeah.
Did you study anything when you were in prison?
Yeah, I studied loads. So when I went at 7, when I went to the secure unit, the juvenile, when I was like 17, I was kind of like catching up on like my GCSEs and stuff and finishing everything. So like I finished what did I get a D in? I think it was maths. But then I was trying to make sure I got maths, and then I done like geography and all the GCSEs that I needed. I think I needed to have like 10 or something, or they wanted me to get 10 because they believed I was like able to achieve it. And then after that, when I went to actual women's prison, because I had done that in juvie, I was able to go on to like access courses. Right. So then I did access module in people work in society. I did one in business management, and then I did like quite a few courses that were like distance learning courses. Just in like kind of like random things. Like after that, kind of when you're there, there's not anything else to kind of do. A lot of the things they offer are level 1s even in HMP. So level 1 maths, level 1 English, level 1 science, level 1 IT. And because I've done my GCSEs and already done all of these at like level, I can't remember, I think I was level 2s and everything, and level 2/3s and like English and maths and stuff. There was nothing else you're offering me that I can't do. A lot of people, I don't know whether it's a stereotype, they feel like everybody who goes to jail is kind of like dumb. And right. So the courses that are there to offer they're not great. They're really not great. It's a poor option, it's a poor selection like there. So yeah, no, I did quite a few like pointless courses, but I set myself up in a way where I can come out now and sign up to do a degree if I wanted to.
See, this was the other thing I was going to ask. Were there other options now you're out of prison?
Yeah.
Other than music, was it like, okay, well, I've studied and done these things, now I can go here, or was it just It's music or back to prison?
I thought I was gonna do. My mum and dad wanted me to do nursing, like mental health nursing. So I was gonna like kind of like start. I've never wanted to be a mental health nurse in my life. Like I've never thought about wanting to do that. But they were just saying it's a stable job. You'll be able to do it with your criminal conviction. They were just kind of like, just do it. Like you've messed up this much, just do it, kind of thing. So I was just like, cool, whatever. So I was gonna go into mental nursing, but that's not what I wanted to do at all. So in my head, I was going to take a gap year, like a year just outside digesting society, and then go on applying for like at UCAS for like to do a degree. But then in that year, I found music. So then that just hasn't happened.
No
it's
gap
not going to happen.
No nursing, straight into the music stuff.
Yeah, like that's not happening.
So you tweeted the other day breaking down details about your license conditions and how you're not allowed to make drill. You're not allowed to make certain.
I'm allowed to make drill, but if I make a drill song tomorrow, that will be the reasoning to banning me from making music. So I'm on my last kind of like warning, in a sense, for music.
Right, okay.
Based off 2 songs. So my first one was No ID, which they kind of like raised the red flag on. And then...
So that was the one that came immediately after The King is Back.
Yeah, and then it was On My. And then after that, there was like, whoa, like, yeah.
Right. So dropping a third one that they don't like sends you back to prison, effectively.
I don't think it doesn't send me back to prison. It just adds the license condition of I can't release music at all, and then if I was to still release a song after that condition has been put in place, then I'm going back to jail. So it would literally just be out here not having anything to do with music whatsoever, which was very like scary for me, because imagine like finding your passion and then actually like that door opening for you, and then now you're being told, okay, cool, now, but we can't take it away. And at that point when I was being told this, I still had about 2 years left on license, so I'm thinking now I haven't got long left, so now it's just kind of like, okay, cool, not long left, lights at the end of the tunnel. But then it was quite scary.
Yeah, I can imagine. Do you think though, on the flip side of it, by being deterred away from making certain music, I think listening to you, for example, like the Two Sides project, it's a lot more diverse. It's not a drill project. Yeah. Like you've got different sounds you're singing in there. There's like what, I don't know what the name of it, but like Afro wave or Afro bashment, whatever people want to call it, Afro swing. You've got one of them tracks on there. So do you think like having that condition on your license made you more experimental with music?
So the thing is that I kind of made that music before I was worrying about all of this.
Oh, okay.
So my EP dropped a month after On My dropped. So I dropped On My, and then I dropped No Snack I think the week afterwards. And dropping No Snack a week after really helped me, because by the time probation had seen On My being released, they also saw, but she's got 2 new releases. So there was No Snack and On My, which kind of like balanced each other out nicely, because my defense was, I'm not just this artist that's just trying to promote violence and, you know, incite violence and do all the things you're telling me. I'm a musician. Like, this is just music, and this is just music. Like, I'm not a drill artist. Don't put me in that box and like try and hold that to me. So I feel like because I could kind of like argue that case, it was just kind of like, okay, cool. I got written, like I got my official kind of like thing, and it's just kind of it's conversations, it's reviews, it's repercussions if I overstep the mark. Really, have to be really kind of like careful in like what I'm doing and what I'm releasing. Yeah. But
you plan to be versatile anyway, by the sounds of it, because
I plan to be. I never wanted to just do drill anyway, but I think it's more frustrating when you feel like you can't. Like,
right.
So because
I'm like that as well. You tell me I can't do something, I'm doing it.
I just feel like it's really limited me in expressing myself, my life, because it's not just drill. It's also kind of like, it can be like rap music, like real rap music. Like, say if I wanted to jump on a real rap beat, I still can't talk too much about like my life and kind of like what happens or what has happened in a sense, because I'm scared of how these people will kind of like flip it, and I get told I haven't changed, I'm still this person, and da-da-da-da-da. But you can't say that to me based off my music when my risk is being lowered, my time signing on is being lowered, my communication with my probation officer is being lowered. All of these things is happening because I'm no longer a risk to the public. Like,
right.
So how can you now then say that I am or doing whatever based off a song or music or whatever? I just don't feel like it comes hand in hand. So obviously I've just tried to put out there the best side of me right now, as of now. When these restrictions are done, I can show the harder side, the real life side of it that they're trying to kind of like stop me from speaking on. And
it's soon, I take it.
Very
real soon. When that date comes, your sentence is completely completed,
done,
and you're free to do whatever you want within the law, obviously. But you're free to speak about what you want on your music, do what music you like, countries, anything like. Good times. Hopefully just in time for the summer to open up.
I know.
The
and
overseas festivals to happen. You get to your first festival.
I know, that's really exciting.
What's the one in Portugal?
Afro Nation.
Afro Nation.
Yeah, Afro Nation.
All of that stuff. Amazing. Another tweet I saved, right? You put this out so long ago. And when I saw it, I was like, I'm keeping this one because I'm going to interview this girl one time and I need to ask her about this. So, okay, you might even remember tweeting it. But you said, Nadia Rose was the first person to take me to the studio and try and introduce me to music before I went to jail. I wasn't ready, but we're here, sis. Tell me about the story around that tweet. Tell me about your relationship with Nadia and that studio visit before you went to jail. Tell me everything about that.
I actually met Nadia through Shabo. So once upon a time, me and Shabo were cool. And at the time, Nadia was managing Shabo. So Shabo introduced me to Nadia as kind of like the person who was managing her and blah, blah, blah. And just kind of like she was a sick rapper, that she was love making beats and da-da-da-da-da. So then I kind of like started speaking to Nadia, and then she invited me to the studio like a few times, and just because of the way that my life was, just always flaky. But no, then she was the first person to mention to me Miss Banks. I'd never heard of Miss Banks before. Right. Nadia was the first person to tell me of Miss Banks. There was a few female rappers that kind of like she like told me like about. And yeah, she just was trying to get me in that female rapper space back then. This was like 2014. But I kind of like would have been on the map a whole lot earlier if I had jumped in then. But I wasn't ready, not as an artist, not in my life. So yeah, no, we did the session. She absolutely loved me. Nadia's never stopped like telling me you're cold, you need to be serious, you're cold. Then we literally just was fucking with beats. She was just like just basically playing beats, random beats, and then making me write 8s and just saying, okay, cool, why don't you try it like this and da-da-da-da. It was mainly just a beats and writing session that we had. And then yeah, I went to jail not long after. So she tried.
she tried, and it got put on pause. It's so funny because that time there and the stuff you just explained is not stuff that's visible to everybody else. So the fact that she's trying to build that community and introduce you to other females,
this was such a long time ago. Yeah, at that time I didn't know Nadia for making music. She wasn't an artist. She made beats, if I believe, and she was just very involved in like the creative process. But I didn't know her to be an artist. But yeah, then when I went to jail, I heard her song, "Make That Shake," whoa. You know how it goes. And then I was like, oh, swear down. Then yeah. Did
you recognise her voice straight away?
Yeah.
She's very distinctive voice.
Very distinctive.
What's your relationship like with her now?
Cool, we're cool. Yeah, we've never not been cool. Like she's absolutely lovely. We were supposed to get in the studio, but then lockdown kind of like happened. But I'm sure that's gonna happen still soon. Just good for times. The vibe, just for the memories and everything. That I feel like we'd have a good session. So I'm excited.
yeah, definitely. So you came out of jail in 2019. Released a freestyle, released a single.
No, in 2018, well, December.
Oh, so you came out at the end of 2018. Right, okay. So 2019, then you released a freestyle, released a single, started getting a lot more attention. I know you did a freestyle with Kenny All-Star.
Yeah.
Did it all just suddenly happen like super quick for you? Because you achieved in that very first year what some artists now in year 10 still haven't managed to achieve. Do you know what I mean? You're doing national radio freestyles and you've got a freestyle out that's viral. And
yeah, I think, do you know what, because as I said, I didn't really know what was going on with me, and I didn't really know who Kenny All-Star, like obviously I've heard Kenny All-Star on the radio, but I didn't really know the figure that he had to play in the industry at the time. Right, yeah, so I didn't really know what an honour it was to kind of be like invited to do this freestyle. I didn't know you have to be picked for these things, and there's a long list of people that are dying to do this, and I didn't know what going viral was. So I feel like I've just kind of just gone through everything and not really, I don't feel like I've processed it. I still don't think I'm processing like life now. I feel like I'm just getting through it. Like I'm just dealing with my own mental while adjusting to the change of life, and then just focusing on working hard to get to the next like step. My manager always tells me I don't appreciate the moment enough because I'm always just so like, what's next then? But where we going? And because I'm just like trying to chase kind of like the dream. I haven't had time to look around. I don't just think. Enjoy it for a minute.
Yeah. No, I can relate to that, definitely. You're amazingly comfortable in front of cameras. Like I've seen videos of you doing freestyles, I've seen videos of you doing studio sessions. Is that something that you have to switch on and work at when the cameras are on? Are you just naturally that way?
No, I'm actually very shy, and I have anxiety, and I'm actually that kind of like person. Like I overthink everything, but as I said, I'm someone that can switch off to just deal with what's going on in the moment. I think because I'm used to dealing with life that way, I deal with everything that way, which is, I don't know if I can really explain it, but I think being comfortable in front of the camera is because I forget there's cameras there. I kind of indulge myself in the conversation and who I'm speaking to without, now you've said that, now I remember that there's cameras there. I just kind of switch off to that.
Oh, shit, they're watching.
I used to hate photos. That initially when my manager met me, that was my thing. I hate photos, can't take photos. But then I started to get comfortable.
How did you meet your manager? Because you're in a very good camp.
Instagram.
Right.
Ant says that he kind of just had the Kings back first. Somebody played that for him, and then he hit me up on Instagram. At the time, kind of A&R for since '93 at Sony. So that was the interaction we initially had. So I went down to Sony, met him, and I think through that kind of meeting where he's heard all of my music, met me at face value. I think he believed in what he can do for me as my manager, rather than bringing me into a major label, because at the time that wasn't even the best thing to do anyway, but in two different job roles, it's two different things, you know what I mean? But then we become a manager instead, and it's been it's not looked back since.
So you met at Sony, did you say? I was going to say, because there's so many stories that I hear where there's female artists and they get a DM saying, I can do this, and it's just,
I remember I
just
said
a guy trying it basically
Ant messaged me the DM saying come to Sony, and I asked him, well, what's the address then? Then he sent me the address, and then I had to Google it to see if it matched on Google. Right. Because I generally thought, who is this? I don't believe this.
Am I right that your very first bars were written over Tinchy Strider's Game Over?
Yeah. Yeah, they were.
Do you remember them?
Yeah, I actually do know.
Go on, tell me.
They're so shit.
That's fine, they're your first bars.
Alright, cool. Right, first time you see me, I may not come up as a rapper, maybe a slapper. No, new to the game, made a few songs making paper. Check my flow. Oh, no Eminem, but I do it. Standing tall and they're not gonna blow it. Chicks getting jealous because I'm good and they know it. Not being cocky, so don't allow it.
There you go. Amazing. You went straight into that with no hesitation once you started as well. You fully remember them.
Yeah, I remember I wrote the whole instrumental,
dang,
because I remember I was thinking sick. Yeah, no, this is hard. That's how I felt. The Eminem bar, I thought, nah, you're a G. That was proper. I was proper in my element. That's why I think I remember them so clearly.
Yeah. Amazing. Yes, you know what? I was fully expecting you to be I don't remember him. No, you went in.
That's the only thing I do remember, though. Music, song lyrics. My mind is like a sieve for everything else.
Is it?
I just remember music. Just it.
But again, that shows because, like I said, from the videos that I've seen where you're doing studio sessions, you're recording and you don't have them written down in front of you. You're just doing it.
I think it's just because I love it. And that's all my brain wants to process.
Do you write all your own lyrics?
Yeah. Every single bar that's ever come out of my mouth. Yeah, literally.
Song words as well?
Song, singing, everything. So everything I've done so far, I've written by myself. But I've expressed already I'd be open to working with co-writers for singing songs and singing choruses and stuff like that. And in the bigger industry, people would be naive to think that is not the process of people get given choruses. And that's how it works. So obviously, the bigger of an artist I get, I'm obviously going to step into that world. But for me, building myself and my stamp as a rapper, I'm not gonna take a bar. I'll never rap. I'll never have a ghostwriter for my bars. I'm a rapper. I've got that. I know I've got that. But yeah, there's songwriters and there's other things, other ventures that you might want to do. But yeah, no, in terms of bars, in terms of writing my raps, I've just focused on getting better with my pen and then having guidance from Ant, kind of oh, why don't you listen to this and kind of pre this person's journey and their body of work, and then hearing what he means and then being okay, cool, I need to fix this and start writing like this or trying to do this. And I really focus and study my pen just to kind of keep kind of growing. Yeah, I don't feel I'll never need to have my raps written for me because I'm always willing to grow. I'll never get to a point where I feel like I'm the best. I'm still willing to grow. I'm still growing now. I'm still going to keep growing. The only thing I'll take help on is them banging hit choruses, and that's it.
Yes. I like that. Do you find it difficult to incorporate the Spanish, not Portuguese, the Spanish?
No, I think it just depends on how I'm feeling to the beat. And there's some songs I've got now behind the scenes which I've got Chichewa in, which is Malawi's tongue. So I think it just depends, and they're Afro beats. So because I've heard the Afro beat and I got into that vibe.
So this is stuff that's not out yet.
Not out yet.
Right,
yeah.
Okay.
But I think it just depends. Some things Like when I write, I just kind of feel the beat first. I feel out the beat and what the beat says, kind of like ride with it in a sense.
The UK scene's got so many successful females now. There seems to be like a thin line though between the unity and the animosity. Like I see so many crossovers. Like she's cool with her, but then she's not cool with her. And that. Yeah. Where do you sit in the female scene? Like when it comes to that, are you cool with most people? Is there?
Yeah, I'm cool with most people. I'm actually cool with everybody. If I have an issue with a female rapper, it would be somebody I knew before music, and it's a personal issue, right. Which is not many. Mm-hmm. But in terms of me coming into this industry, when I'm meeting the world of female rappers that there is, I've got no issue. I've got no reason to have any issues with anybody in this industry. We're just here all to make music. Do you know what I mean? So no, there's no issues. I've got no issues with anybody. I feel the animosity definitely. There's some things I do observe, and there's some energy that I do see from other female rappers, and I just don't kind of do act the same. It's just kind of trying to maintain being that bigger person, and I'm still going to support your music, still going to post your music, I'm still going to comment, I'm still going to be that person, because I don't quite understand the animosity or where it comes from, but obviously you see it, just have to ignore it.
What do you think is more beneficial for the UK females? Do you think they're unity and working with each other? Or?
Yeah, of course. I feel like the unity would just strengthen the female side of the industry the same way it has in America. Now, there's multiple female rappers over there that are breaking boundaries, from Doja Cat, right? From Nicki Minaj to Doja Cat right now, to Cardi, to Meg, to Mulatto, to Dream Doll. There's space for them all, and that's from them kind of lifting each other up. Mm-hmm. If the UK kind of did the same, so imagine if, say, Miss Banks, for example, done a song with IVD and then Mr. Familiar and then this one. Now you've just opened up, you've shed your light on a bunch of other female rappers that now have got light to shed on other female rappers. So then it would take an IVD and a La Familia to do a song with me, and then, do you know what I mean? And the energy just keeps getting passed on, so where people are just discovering female rappers, because don't forget, fans of, say, Miss Banks and the female rappers already existing, are fans of a female rapper, and they want to see more. Which is why obviously in America, Cardi can do a song with Meg, and then now Meg has took a load of Cardi fans, but that's not a bad thing. You're not stealing from me. There's room for us all.
Sharing. Yeah. Taking a fan away doesn't mean taking a fan away. No, I hear that. Do you not think though, just to be devil's advocate on this one, do you not think that the beef brings more attention?
It does, but then it only brings attention for as long as that feud is happening, and it's not going to last forever. Eventually it gets boring. Even the Lil Kim and Nicki Minaj beef got boring, because eventually, cool, Nicki Minaj is doing too good now to keep addressing you, Kim. Everyone just has to start to just, she's building her legacy as a female, you've built yours. There's no reason to keep going back and forth. It gets draining eventually. So kind of while it's, and is it worth it? Is it worth just that moment of, cool, this is entertaining. Yeah, this is for now. We're never going to get a Lil Kim and Nicki Minaj song. We might not get a Nicki and a Cardi song, but these are the two of the most amazing female rappers we've got right now. Why? For the sake of entertaining beef back in 2017. The industry's developing so much further than that now. If Nicki and Cardi done a song together tomorrow, that would go absolutely crazy. But I think that matters more for what it would do for the industry and the female side of the industry, rather than the beef. The beef is just temporary vlogs for the day.
You're smart. That's a very intelligent outlook. Have you thought about that a lot? Or did you just just bring that up as
You just asked me the question. That's why, you see, when I speak, I just say how I feel.
I love that though. I love that. Yes, I've got so much time for that. Do you see other males and females in the UK as competition?
No, because I feel like everybody's path is different. And for what for the things I'm trying to achieve and the plans I have in my head, no one has done yet. And the levels I'm trying to reach, no one has done. So I can't look at anybody as competition. I can look at people as influences, because I can't compare myself to the males. Being a male rapper is completely different energy and completely different world from being a female. I've got a completely different struggle. So I can only kind of look at the female rap examples that have been set, and I've got influences, I've got women that I admire, but I wouldn't say I consider anybody as competition. I respect everybody's hustle and what everybody's trying to do. I can't look into their heads. So for me to look at them as competition, it's a losing battle, because I don't know what you're planning. So it's just like starting a war where you don't know what your opponent's doing, the same way they don't know what I'm planning and what I'm trying to achieve for myself. So no, I don't look at anybody as competition. I'm just trying to get to a crazy height, and it's going to take a lot of planning, but it's my own blueprint. So yeah, that's why I can't look left and right.
Yeah, I guess it's harder for UK females. I mean, I can drop the UK. I guess it's harder for female rappers, because the way I see it is when we're talking about who's the greatest rapper, you'll name 5 guys in the conversation, but it's who's the best female? There seems to only be
Nicki.
Space for one person. It has to only be one, rather than
even female features, they'll always be compared. Like, she went harder than this one, but then male features is always like, it's not that. You're not having a male remix and then saying, oh, but H went better than Russ and this one went better than. No one cares. It's just, you just love the song. At most it stops as H killed that verse, H went hard. And you see the Digga D verse and Gun Liam remix, and was it Digga D? It was Digga D, wasn't it?
Digga D did
it was like Digga D. Like, see, he had kind of like the strongest verse in my opinion, that song. The comments wasn't Digga D did better than, it was literally Digga D buried his verse. It's not the same. So already the narrative is different. Like, it's already different. You're coming at it different. Already the way people are listening to it is different, because you're listening to it to compare and not listening to just appreciate, which is the hard thing for females. Like, I don't know when that's going to change or how that's going to change or when that's going to stop.
Yeah. Do you think it ever will?
Yeah. The more female rappers there is.
Right.
I feel like eventually when there's, say, 10 female rappers that are established in the UK, you can't keep comparing us on tracks. You're just going to start to appreciate there's spares of us now. So
the Two Sides EP from last year that you dropped, why was it called Two Sides? Is that because there's two sides to you? Is it because there's two sides to your story?
Yeah, it was just kind of like both. It was kind of like there's two sides to every story. That was my main thing, which is why I like the intro was called Two Sides, and it was kind of like a monologue base of like my life and then me having a conversation with somebody else. That was kind of emphasized on the fact there is two sides to every story, but for me it was just kind of like the two sides of like my world in a sense, because like people can see me and see the outside and it looks all nice and people can't imagine that kind of like the life that I've kind of been through. So my whole life I've kind of been used to kind of doing the double lives thing. So if you don't know my life and I just met you spontaneously, I don't know, in the shop or something, I'd be whoever I wanted to be. And that was kind of like kid, like young adult growing up, because I don't look like how my life really is, so I can be absolutely anybody to you, and that was kind of my thing. But then in real life it was the other side of my face, which is the belly and the roads. So for me it was kind of like the two sides of my world.
The Two Sides track then, so was that a true story basically? And so for anybody that hasn't heard it, that's a good way to kind of break down how you got into the situation that you got into and how you kind of got dragged into that life. Because you detail, like, there's a lot of detail in that, which I quite like. Like I said earlier, I like storytelling raps, and I like it when artists can articulate that. So for anybody listening, they can listen to Two Sides, and then they can hear your origin story.
I don't listen to that song. I don't listen to that song. I don't listen to anything that's quite deep for me.
Right.
I don't listen to my own meaningful music. Anything that's come from somewhere, I can't listen to it. I feel like it brings back too many emotions. So yeah, I don't actually listen to that. That's the only song I skip on my EP.
Too triggering, yeah. So it's going to be interesting when you do come to make like the deep music. It's something I always ask artists when they might make deep songs about someone close to them that's died or something horrible that's happened to them.
Yeah.
Are you able to detach from it to make it? Are you going to have to wait until you can kind of detach emotionally, because you're going to know from the studio sessions you've got to do it, then you've got to do it again, then you've got to do the stabs, then you've got to do it, do you know what I mean? And you've got to perfect it, and you're going over this one scenario which might be super traumatic for you, but you're making a song, so you've got to keep repeating it.
My issue as a person is I don't deal with anything. I've never dealt with trauma. I just kind of like forget about it. Right. So I move on. Like, as I said, I kind of like live in the present, and like I have holes in my memory. So some things of like my part, like I don't remember some things of my childhood, and a lot of things I didn't remember at all when I first came out of jail. I had to sit with my mum and go through photos and piece up my own like childhood and stuff from deliberately kind of making myself forget things, which is hard to explain. But so because I'm like that, I've never had to deal like with thinking about anything. So if the first time I'm going to do it is music, it's going to be very intense, but that will be the first time when I've kind of had to think about that. Even Two Sides, that's the first time I've had to actually think about how I felt or what I can put in music to explain that time of my life. But I don't think about that time of my life, so obviously it just draws out all of the emotions in one go, because it's kind of like I'm not just writing music, I'm having to remember it first because I forgot, and then remember how I felt, and then now also try and put it in music, which is all new to me, so it's dealing with everything in one go. But I'll do it.
Yeah, I guess it's probably going to be quite therapeutic being able to do it and just get it out. Emotional,
I don't know, is it therapeutic? I won't know until I find out. Some people say talking about things makes you feel better. So I don't know. Maybe.
And then you're going to have to go through performing things.
Yeah, see, I don't know about all that.
That's a whole nother conversation, I guess.
That's what makes it all kind of like, no, let me stay away from pain music and make happy music. Because performing it, oh God, I don't know.
The good thing about what you've got out already, though, is you've already got like at least 3 songs, probably more in the bank ready, but from what I've heard, you've got at least 3 that are suitable for club performances.
Yeah.
So you can do the pain project and the story side without having to bring that into your live stuff.
Yeah,
because you've already built up a good catalogue.
But to be fair, because like life is happy now, and I've also gone, like, there's a lot of joy that can come from my story, from my experiences now and what I'm experiencing for the first time, and some things is like being like a little kid again, and there's a lot of joy, and if I articulate it right, I feel like people will understand that part. So I hope to still like express everything that I'm trying to express, but in a nice way, so people are listening to it thinking, okay, cool, but she's come out from this and she's grown into a different person, rather it being pain music. Like,
right, yeah.
I can't do pain music.
You can't do pain music.
No.
So who would be, dead or alive, anyone ever, the ultimate collaboration for a song for you?
Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj, straight off the bat. You already thought about this, right?
Yeah. She's,
definitely Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, I believe I'll collab with her though. By the time I get to the level of for her to acknowledge me, I feel like because she keeps threatening retirement. So
I was going to say,
scary.
I thought she kind of had.
Yeah, but then since she said that, she's made a few songs afterwards. So I'm hoping by the time I reach my peak and I can shout her, she's still making music. I hope.
Right. She showed a lot of love to UK artists last time she was here.
Yeah,
so.
she did. Yeah, no, for real. And she's actually very supportive. I feel like people don't give Nicki her credit. Because they've seen her beefs, they don't give her credit for being very supportive of female rappers. She is very. She's very, I see her kind of like hailing girls up all the time, even for Miss Banks, bringing Miss Banks out on a UK tour, and the way she treats the American rap girls is very, she does what she needs to, besides the rap beefs. So yeah, I hope she gives me that same energy, manifesting it.
There you go. Well, one of my interview clips has been posted on her Insta before, so you never know. This one might be as well. This one, she might watch this one. Have you got an album on the way with Fraser T. Smith?
No, I was actually working with Fraser T. Smith for a song for one of his projects.
Right, okay.
Yeah, no, but obviously for a long-term goal, that would be someone I would love to work with. From when I'm ready to make my album, that is definitely someone that would be absolutely amazing to work with. But obviously it depends where I am creatively in my journey then. He's one of the most important people I feel like I've met in my journey so far, because in that one session, he just kind of showed me a lot. And kind of, he's very like, I don't know, he's such a lovely person, but he's just very easy to talk to. But then, obviously, because I've never, that was the first time I'd met kind of anybody who had really had a journey in the industry. Fraser was kind of like my first person, and he's such a prominent figure in the industry as well. So I took quite a lot of knowledge from him, and we had a lot of interesting conversation, and it really set me up for what I wanted moving forward and what I can achieve. Right. I've always said I wanted to be like some of the great rappers that we have in the UK, from Stormzy, Dave. I'm sat in a room with a man that made their projects. Of course I can be on the same level as these greats, you know what I mean? I just have to work for it. So it was just kind of like, he put things into perspective for me, that session did. What
else musically have you got coming in? So you told me you got some stuff in the vault ready. You got some Afro beats on the way.
I don't know. Do you know what? I just make a lot of different music. I don't know if I'm actually releasing that or when, but that's not like in the near future. Like I just record everything. Like I just record what I'm feeling. Right now, I'm working on my EP, which is what will be coming next.
Okay.
Because I've been working on this since October last year. But then, because when I was working through the EP, it was kind of like still thinking about my restrictions with this whole music thing and the drill stuff. But now I'm coming off it. I want to redo it all again.
Right.
But I've already released kind of like 2 singles in a sense, which is Juice and Big Boy Stunting from this project. So I can't change the dynamic of the project. So I'm still kind of like now working in how I'm going to add back the sounds that I kind of like want to still kind of show in with what I've already kind of released. Can
they not just be singles? They're out now, like just let them bubble as singles, and then the project, they didn't even have to be on it.
But then they still kind of like, especially Big Boy Stunting for me, because my next project's called Freedom. So it's just kind of like my year outside, and just kind of like, so my first one was 2 sides and this one is literally Freedom. And then it's just kind of like speaking on my year. So Big Boy Stunting was kind of like for me the initial track, because a lot of people have so much to say, which is why I started on the Fuck Them Hoes that be speaking on me. Like everyone, like there was just so much going on, and it's just, I feel like that still is a single that says a lot for how I was feeling after my year out, how I've been feeling. So I wouldn't want to take that off. Juice, I wouldn't want to take that off. I don't know. It's hard. I've got so much music. That's the issue.
How many do you reckon? How many songs you got?
I don't know. I really don't, because I really just make a lot of music. I had 6 or 7 songs that I wanted to put on this EP for sure, but then now I don't want to put any of them. So then now it's like kind of like I've took away like 5 songs. So that's 5 songs right in the bank. Then I've had a lot of songs that I've been working on from last year. That's about another like 10. And then just the studio sessions that I have in between where I just make whatever I want, like the African music. That's probably about another like 10. And then from things maybe like 2 years ago that we might bring out of the archives next year. And the songs that weren't in the right time to release then, which is like another 10. Like, so there's just music everywhere, like that I don't even sit and listen to anymore. I've forgotten about until Anthony will mention, oh, why don't we come back to this? And then I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a banger. And yeah.
That's the beauty of it, is the old music to you, it's brand new to me if it's not released.
True, yeah.
Which is sick. So do you have a release date? I mean, I guess you're just kind of working everything out.
Now, I feel like because I feel like now I'm just taking my time, because I've kind of figured out what I want to do musically. And obviously now I'm going back to the drawing board with my EP. I feel like now I want to breathe and just kind of figure out what I'm doing for the rest of the year in terms of sound and music. So I'm not in a rush now. I was in a rush before. I was in a rush to get this out last month, and then I wanted to get out this month. But now I'm thinking the only person who's putting pressure on me is me. Not even my label, not my manager. No one does that. No one does that to me except myself. So I just need to chill out.
Yeah, definitely. But I feel like you're in a position where you've made your mark. Like, you've made the noise you need to make now. People know your name. So now you can just take time and bring something great.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what I'm definitely working to do. Really working on nailing the next single as well, because I want it to be a drill song now, because obviously I'm coming off of this thing, so that I'll be able to release that next month. So yeah, I'm really trying to focus on the next single and making that perfect potential feature.
Potential feature. I like the way you said that. I'm not even going to bother asking who, because I know you're not going to tell me. I've been doing this long enough to know you're not telling me who. So no, love, it's been amazing sitting down chatting to you. Like,
thank you for having me.
Like I said, you're very open, and the fact that you articulate yourself the way that you do, and what you've got your sights set on, I think things are going to be promising.
No, I appreciate you for having me, Double. It's been a lovely conversation.
Yes, thank you very much. DJDUBLTV, Lavida Loca.